Hey guys, this is Bob Hickman. It is so good to be back with all of you. Well, I want to say thank you to all of you who came out to my recent video on the Chinese zodiac about the year of the horse 2014. I've been getting a lot of comments and letters about that. I'm so glad you enjoyed that video. If you haven't seen that video, it's the one right before this. Go check it out, okay? Because it talks about the year that's upcoming with the year of the horse by the Chinese astrology. Well, tying in with the year of the horse, as I mentioned in that video, the year of the horse is all about things coming to swift movement and things getting going. And, we're approaching a holiday that, well, normally I don't really like that much, but a lot of people like, which is Valentine's Day. I don't know. I've never had good luck on romance on Valentine's, so it's not a holiday that I put a lot of stock in. But the wonderful thing about Valentine's is it reminds us to let love be present in our lives. Sometimes we all feel that time of loneliness. We think, only if I had a certain person in my life would be complete. Maybe you're somebody who's been in a long-term relationship and it ended recently and you feel very alone. And you're feeling like, I just feel like I can't go on. Times like Valentine's Day sometimes bring up all that negative stuff too. And I know a lot of you have written me and told me, said, Psychic Bob, I don't know if I'm ever going to get into a relationship again. I've been so hurt, so burned, so let down. We come into the earth to learn love. And I think that is a big challenge for all of us, really. When we talk about relationships, I don't care if you're gay, if you're straight, you're bisexual, transgender. Love is love, okay? And over there in the spirit world, God looks at the heart. We don't care, God doesn't care about what we think about, who we love. It's important that we love. So when you go through those times of loneliness, it's wonderful, first of all, to think that you are loved by God, by Goddess, by the divine, however you call that. There is a force of love that is part of you, and you're part of that. So at Valentine's Day, it's a wonderful time to even open yourself to spiritual love. But I know some of you are going to say, well, Psychic Bob, that's all good and well. But, I still feel like I want to have a relationship, and that's okay. I think as humans, we are meant to interact and to be in a relationship, and that's very, very important. One of the things that's so important when we talk about romance and relationships is that before we can love somebody else, we have to love ourselves. And I find in a lot of the people that I meet, I do readings all day long, and I meet people who hate themselves. And interestingly, when they hate themselves, one of the signs of this is that they're not able to draw love to themselves. And when they say to me, Psychic Bob, I'm always having problems. Nobody will go out with me. Nobody likes me. All my relationships end badly. I always say, do you love yourself? And most people stop and they go, no, not really. You see, self-love is where it starts. When we love ourselves, we create space within our heart to draw somebody else in. And that's so important. We have to also be open to love. Sometimes I'll meet people and they'll be so critical. They'll say, well, I met Mr. Right, I thought, but he didn't drive a Mercedes. And you told me my new lover would have a Mercedes. Well, he drove a BMW. So Psychic Bob was off. But the fact is that criticism of hostility comes from a place of deep self-loathing. We have to be open that the Spirit could bring something to us that's very different than what we think we want. That sometimes the Spirit brings to us that which we need. Ultimately, the Spirit does bring us that which we need. And I think as people, it's very much a struggle for us to know the difference between our wants and our needs. Love is a basic need, They show in hospital studies that children who are held, who are premature, have a much stronger survival rate than those left unattended. That caring touch, that human connection brings life. And you know, I think that it's so important, especially at Valentine's, that we all think about love, you know. And one of the things that people have been asking, so, well, Bob, what can I do to be open to love? Well, I got something for you today I want you to see. Many of you know I read the tarot. Well, I left my tarot deck at home today, but I said I still don't want to delay this video because I think it's important. And a card I wanted to talk about from the tarot, I use the Rider-Waite Tarot. This is the Lover's card. Those of you who read tarot and particularly know the work of Pamela Coleman Smith, who was the artist, they call it the Rider deck or the Rider-Waite deck. I think it should be called the Pamela Coleman Smith deck. She did all the work, really. But this is the Lover's card. I hope you can see that. I have a little glare here. But this is a tarot card that you'll find. Now, of course, the actual one's much smaller. This one's larger, just for illustration purposes. But this is a wonderful thing. You know, the tarot is a source of power. Within the tarot, there are archetypal images. That means they're universal images that have a kind of a reservoir of power. And we can draw from them. So one of the basic simple spells you can do is a tarot magic spell. Yes, you can do magic with tarot. And it doesn't have to be complex. What you want to do is get an image of the tarot card, the Lovers. If you got a tarot deck, that's fine. But if not, you can get a copy off the internet. You know, there are a lot of images there. But if you can, try to get an actual tarot deck. Because I think tarot decks over time build power as you work with them. But this is a wonderful thing. So you want to get an image of the Lover's card. And it doesn't have to be the Rider-Waite deck. This is the one I use because I like this deck. But I want to talk about this image, at least in this deck. And your deck may be a little different. That's okay. But look for some of the similarities if you have a different deck. But what do we notice in this card? We see two people, a male and a female here. And above them is an angel with a sun with rays shining down. And in the distance is a beautiful blue sky and a mountain. And what this is about is that it represents the union of people, and that love takes us to the summit of our existence. This mountain is not here by chance. It represents the culmination of our humanity, that in love we are raised to the highest pinnacle, and we touch on the edge of divinity. And this is where the angelic force comes in. Now, for those of you who say, well, Bob, I want to pray to an angel to get some help in love. Well, I don't know if this is actually the angel Raphael, but I believe that it is. The Archangel Raphael is a wonderful person to pray to ask for help with love. He does a lot of work in relationship areas. And I believe this is the Archangel Raphael. And it's very interesting here. If you notice behind each of the persons, there are trees. Now this here is a tree just beginning to bud, or actually it could be a tree that's in fall. Maybe the leaves are barren. But if you notice with the woman here, there's an abundance of rich fruit. And what that means is that she brings to this male who is lonely a richness of life that brings life back. And I think that's very powerful. And love does that. Love brings life back, you see. So this is a wonderful thing. And all you want to do is put this up on your meditation area or your altar. I think everybody should have a meditation altar. And just have a little table. And what I'd like you to do is get a pink candle. I don't have any candles with me today because I was running late. But get a pink candle and just set it before the image of the Lover's card. And then you light that. And then you say to Archangel Raphael, say, Raphael, I'm open to receiving. Help me to connect to myself, to love myself. And help me to be open to loving somebody else and bringing them to me. Now, when you do this meditation, you do not want to say, I want to get, Joni down the street, and Joni's going to be my girlfriend. No, that's manipulation. We don't control another's choices. All you ask for is that you be open to receiving love. First, ask for love for yourself, and then that you may draw to you somebody that is in like harmony with your vibration. And ask for angelic help. You know, we have help in the spirit world to help us through all of these challenges in life, but we have to ask for it. And as you meditate every day on the Lover's card, you'll start to discover more and more within the imagery. I can't tell you what all you'll discover because each person finds something different. For example, one day you may sit down and you notice the sun shining, and you feel like that's a message to you, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that's your message for the day. And another day you might sit down and you notice the male card. You say, somebody's coming into my life, he'll be beautiful. Or if you're a male and you say, there's a beautiful woman coming into my life. You see, and each day you'll be drawn to an aspect, and that's a message for you. So I encourage you to try this, and just do this for 3 or 4 days. Try this. Right now we're at the 11th of February, so it's a good time to start, and do this all through into Valentine's. And, you know, even if you don't get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a mate right away, what you will find is that you are spiritually transformed, and that your burden seems a little less heavy, and that you'll have a sense of being guided and blessed and protected as you move through your transition time. Anyways, I encourage you to try this. This again is from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, the Lover's card, by Pamela Coleman Smith. She's a wonderful artist, or was a wonderful artist. Well, she's in spirit now. She was an artist in the early 1900s. I believe she passed over around 1930. She never got the credit in her life for the wonderful tarot imagery she did until after her death. Of course, you know how it is with all the artists. They become famous afterwards. But she's left us a legacy, really a spiritual legacy in the tarot images that I think will help many people if they're open to it. Guys, I am so glad you are here at Spirit Channel. Listen, I hope you'll keep it here. I just really appreciate all your support. We're going to have more videos. We'll have messages from the spirit world this week. And we're going to do some other stuff too. I think we'll do some magic videos as well as some more spell work. You guys seem to like that. And we're going to have a wonderful time. Listen, if you're new here, or even if you're not new, if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We'd love you to be part of Spirit Channel. I'm so glad you're here, guys. Thanks for being here. Keep me posted, and check back here in the coming days. Blessings to you all, and happy Valentine's Day.